try it, you know? And so every culture has things that might be culture shock, you know? It's like, wow, we don't do that in my house. You know, my wife, when she answers her mom, she goes, the mom calls her, hey, Abby, what? If I was to say what to my mom, I'm in trouble. You got to say, yes, ma'am, señora. You know, you have to, it's just like this thing. But because of that, I can see, oh, you know, they're not, they're this, they're that. So that's, I wanted just to say that I'm in the same mindset as the sister, that I can't let certain instances make me feel like an entire race feels a certain way towards me.
Yeah. I'm not sure why I feel like I need to say this, but it just keeps coming to my mind. I think racism is an issue of the heart. Yeah. And that's something that only the gospel of Jesus Christ can transform and change. Because we have to change our heart. Legislation is good and it may be important, but it doesn't deal with the heart. And I just want to reemphasize that. We have to first kind of analyze our own heart, our own racism, because one thing I didn't mention was that I saw racism even when I would go back like to Mexico with my family. So, you know, it's like the fair-skinned person is somehow better. Like the saying you were saying is, marry that person para mejorar la raza. That's what they say. That's what they'll say that. You know, and I saw it there too. So own country. It's not just an American thing. It's an issue of the heart. And we as Christians need to be very self-aware of that, especially when we're hearing these things in the media.
Wow, thank you for sharing that. And that's the trend that I heard when you guys were sharing, is that you didn't let outside influences, even if it was someone close to you that loved you, filter how you perceived another culture or ethnicity and how your experience with them was. Sarah, if you could share, we talked offline, I would love for you to share your experience with that question.
Okay, so I feel like my experiences are very different from yours. I feel like I carried a lot of shame and a lot of embarrassment. So my background, I am mixed. I'm Costa Rican, Colombian, and Caucasian. But I was raised predominantly in a Costa Rican Colombian home. And I was raised in an Asian community, attending, and you know, this church back in the day was predominantly Caucasian. And I was raised, you know, with my grandparents who really were more like my parents than my own mom and my father, okay? In retrospect, now as an adult, I could look back and I say, well, the root of all of this was a sense of like devaluation and self-hatred, because I felt like I didn't have a place of acceptance in any subgroup that I was a part of. And so, for example, and this isn't to dishonor my parents, you know, the Lord, you know, they've evolved and worked on some of their issues, but, you know, I had a father who devalued my mother, and as much as he loved my mom, it was like he would just put her down. Like, she's just a Mexican, you know, like he hated her, would call her out of her name and things like that. To me, his daughter, right? And there was a lot of emotional abuse directed at my identity as well. And then I was also raised in a home where there was a lot of rigidity, a lot of rules, a lot of hypocrisy.